Good morning, everyone. I can just ask everyone just to settle down. I'll give a few seconds for everyone just to settle down. Thank you. It's exciting to see everyone after such a long time. ICPA Conference is only every 2 years. I think maybe we should make it annually, Sean. It's a lot of work, but I think 2 years is good. But it's nice to get together every now and then. Okay, looks like everyone is settled. So, once again, good morning, everyone. Good morning to our esteemed guests, to our industry partners, to our sponsors, and the friends of independent community pharmacy in South Africa. My name is Mehboob Kassem, and I have the privilege of chairing and leading our very dynamic board of directors at the Independent Community Pharmacy Association. It is a privilege for me to welcome you all to this eighth conference of the ICPA. So welcome everybody. This will be, Jackie, if I'm correct, this will be our 14th AGM and our 8th conference. So ICPA is 14 years old this year. Well done, ICPA. I think what we've achieved in the 14 years surpasses many other organizations that have been around for a while, and it's all due to your participation and your contribution to the profession. So allow me now to thank our speakers, especially our guest speakers that have flown in and come in from around South Africa, and our keynote speaker, Dr. Imtiaz Suleiman, who has arrived. And we also acknowledge, I'm not sure, I haven't seen him this morning, but I'm going to introduce him as the former chairperson of ICPA and the current president of the South African Pharmaceutical Council, Mr. Mogolo Pasha. Welcome to you. And obviously we acknowledge the Pharmaceutical Society of South Africa through the participation and attendance of Ms. Refilwe Mohale. Thank you very much for attending. Thank you for taking the time to be with us on this weekend in this beautiful city of Durban. So, as we know, this function would not have been possible. Any function is not possible without the money. And we'd like to thank, from the onset, our sponsors that really have come to the party to make this event possible. And I'm going to call out our biggest sponsors, diamond sponsors, Sudhir, Adcock Ingram. Thank you very much. Sudhir's hand is up before we even ask. When Adcock hears ICPA is busy with the project, the hand is already up, like we're there. So thank you very much, Sudhir and the team at Adcock. Our platinum sponsor, Zydus, Anelda, I'm not sure if she's arrived. Anelda's also always a phone call away. Thank you, Zydus. Our silver sponsor is Aspen, Nikki and her team. Well done for coming through. And the gold sponsor is GEMS this year. Dr. Vuyo will be available. Thank you very much, Dr. Vuyo, for making yourself available. And then our copper sponsor is Kenview. And we thank Flonela and Ilani at the stand, at the Kenview stand. This year we've decided that, and I'm not somebody who speaks a lot, but this is unfortunately a formality that I have to do, or fortunately. And I've cut this opening speech, which generally is between 20 and 30 minutes, I've cut it down to less than 10. And that's deliberate because ICPA is not a talk shop. ICPA Conference is not a talk shop. We're here to make resolutions, we're here to learn, and ultimately to implement new strategies that will benefit our businesses. So I've deliberately cut the opening short, but it gives me also time to mention those sponsors that have taken sponsorships and are exhibiting in our foyer in the exhibition hall. And it's something that we often forget, is that just they've taken an exhibition stand and they're getting the exposure, but it's always good just to thank every sponsor, no matter how small or how big your contribution was. So after thanking the big sponsors, let me just mention by name, in no particular order, the other sponsors that have come through for ICPA this year. Novo Nordisk, Ostel, Servia, Helion, Nishin's hand is always up. I don't think Nishin puts his hand down. If it's TPS, whatever it is, Nishin is there. Ethica, Viatris, Cipla, McLeod's, Computersys, ICW, a nice mix of people. We've got software vendors, we've got manufacturers, we've got wholesalers, City Medical, Arinel, Pharmed, Spa Health, Pharmacy at Spa, Insights, your temperature monitoring system, Certic, and Certic will be giving a prize away during the conference, Discovery Vitality, Studix, and we've got the banks here this year, Nedbank and Standard Bank, and for the first time at a conference of ICPA, we have a car dealership. Hyundai is here. You can't see it, but I am branded Hyundai, and that's because ICPA does not use members' money for board members to travel. So Hyundai has paid our travel expenses and our hotel. We do not use members' money for. And we hope that it's a relationship that's going to give you more delivery vehicles for your pharmacies. I've got the i10 personally, and its fuel consumption is very good. That's a side. For a diamond, have really, I mean, if anybody does Diabetes Day in your pharmacies, you'll know, you pick up the phone, you phone Fora, and they're there. For a diamond has given every one of you a free complimentary glucometer, so that not to store in your office and put on the shelf, so that you can go back and you can test people and offer free diabetes screening in your pharmacies. We are in November, it's Diabetes Month. Let's go out there and let's make a difference to those fatalities caused by NCDs, which are preventable. And early detection is the key. So I urge you, take those 4 diamond machines, go back to the pharmacy, plan 1 or 2 days where you do a massive public screening campaign and implement strategies for your community to become healthier. Thank you to 4 Diamond. This year we come together under the theme of empowering community pharmacy through empowerment, innovation, integration and impact. These 4 pillars reflect not only the vision, but also the dynamic role that community pharmacies play in transforming healthcare across South Africa. As Rumi, many of you may know, who've attended some meetings that I've chaired, I tend to start my meetings with a quote from a Persian poet, and his name is Rumi. And one of his quotes, he says, "Let yourself be silently drawn by the strange pull of what you really love. It will not lead you astray." And our love for service, care and commitment to our communities guides every step that we take, empowering us as community pharmacists to innovate, integrate and make a lasting impact in those very communities where our businesses are, where we practice. So thank you to you for making that difference in your communities. Over the next day or 2, we'll explore how empowerment fuels innovation, how integration strengthens our healthcare systems, and how our collective efforts magnify the impact we have on the lives we touch. Together, let us renew our dedication to elevating community pharmacy as a cornerstone of health and well-being. Pharmacy must be the first name that people think of when they're not well. The first person they go to, we know it's happening already, the first port of call is always the pharmacy. So let us be prepared to honor that role and to implement our knowledge so that we can better the community. To the ICPA board, the office team, for those of you who may have come in last night, there was a dinner here last night. That dinner ended past 11. Tonight we're sitting in an auditorium in a plenary session. So well done to the team at the office, Shanaz and the team, for really pulling this off. Well done. There's a saying in Swahili, I think it is, it says that the story of the hunt always favors the hunter until the lion learns to talk. And I think it's for us to carry forward the spirit of keeping the patient in the foremost in all we do, and ensuring that the story of pharmacy is told loud and clear, so that everybody knows the role and the importance pharmacy has in the lives of South Africans. So welcome again to the 8th Independent Community Pharmacy Association. It is here and it is now open. Welcome everyone. To call upon my co-host from the beautiful province of KZN. Not that she's not beautiful, but Dipti, please come up. I want you to introduce the first speaker for the first session of today, which is the Adcock Ingram session.
Thank you, Mebu, and thank you everybody for taking the time to invest in yourselves and your profession. Your presence here today is a profound testament to your commitment. So welcome everybody to KZN, your host for this conference 2025 ICPA. And Mebu, as chair of ICPA, I must say those were such inspirational words. I wanted to take my pen and start jotting down motions and words already. So thank you for that. It's a kicker of a starter. And As we begin the Adcock Empowerment Session, we are honored to be joined by our Diamond sponsor, Adcock Ingram OTC, a long-standing partner of the ICPA, as mentioned by Mehboob, and a tireless advocate for the strength and sustainability of independent pharmacy. So please join me in welcoming Mr. Sudhir Ramprasad, a Managing Director of Adcock Ingram OTC, who will share his insights on keeping independent pharmacies strong. Just stand right here. Okay, all right. So Sudhir Ramprasad is the Managing Director of Adcock Ingram OTC, a role he has held for 7 years, with a master's in biotechnology from WITS and over 30 years of experience in the pharmaceutical industry. Sudhir has held key roles at Pfizer, Janssen's, Bristol Myers, Squibb, and Novartis. Passionate about community outreach, he champions initiatives that improve primary healthcare access, especially through community pharmacies. His expertise in integrating multinational strategies into South Africa's healthcare landscape reflects his commitment to advancing the sector and supporting innovation towards improved self-care. Thanks.
Thank you for that introduction. It's amazing what you can do with a bio these days, and don't knock chats with GPT, it's fantastic. Good morning everyone, and thank you for allowing us this opportunity to speak to you. As you saw, we've got a long history with the ICPA. Of your 14 years, we've been involved, I imagine, every year. And my colleague here, Peter Moore, and I, we've been part of it for the last 7 or so years. So that's essentially how long we've traveled this path. As I previously mentioned, is that our relationship started with interactions with the likes of Jackie Mayman and Dr. Shalm Woodley, and it's just grown stronger since 7 years ago. I stand there very humble, only because I'm going to be sharing a podium with the two speakers afterwards, and I mean Dr. Suleiman and Dr. Shalm Woodley. And to be honest, I've paid my way to get onto this podium. So I hope that my opening act or curtain raiser is going to be okay, just to get that going. But please know that I'm very humbled by the fact that I'm sharing that same podium with these individuals. You have done so much for our country, and you continue to do it. So phenomenal. Thank you so much. Just a great thanks to the executive committee of the ICPA, headed up by Mr. Kassim and Jackie Mayman. And I think it would be remiss of me not to mention in particular the organizer of the conference and the working group, and that is Rakesh Daya. And the reason I say that is because Rakesh turns 60 today. And I'm not sure it's because of his commitment to his fraternity, or he's in denial about his age, but to miss a milestone celebration with friends and rather be here, I think that says a lot, Rakesh. But what I do want to know from you, Rakesh, is you obviously got an in. Where are you? You've got an in with someone at Adcock Ingram OTC, because the theme that you and your team have put together for this Congress speaks so intimately to what we're about. Empowering independent community pharmacy is at the root of what we're trying to do from Adcock Ingram OTC. And I'll explain it a bit more. So when you look at empowering, and I think the pillars you speak about is empowerment, it's innovation, integration, and impact. Our 3 pillars is about innovation, accountability, and implementation, which again aligns quite nicely. Innovation is quite straightforward. Dr. Suleiman, I just said something about you earlier on. I'm just very humbled to share the same podium with you. And so the 3 pillars that we speak about at Adcock Ingram OTC is innovation, accountability, and implementation and execution. When it comes to innovation, I think that the comparison is easy. It's almost textbook style. But like the ICPA, we believe that if we're not innovating, we're not going to grow, and our survival is at risk. So we're really doing our best to make that happen. But what does that translate to in terms of our interaction with you? It's to listen to you more, because we feel that for us to innovate, And to do it more accurately and quicker, we're going to have to listen to you, our customer, more regularly and more intimately. And so for tonight, for example, when Peter Mollen and I sit at your network dinner and we're quiet, it's because we're listening. It's got nothing to do that we're anxious about the Springboks playing the Friends later tonight. But talking about the Springboks, I mean, there's a fantastic example about empowering. What a fantastic team unit, led by an innovative coach. And then you've got the integration of the players. We don't even talk about the quota system anymore because it's automatic. Everyone just plays. Whoever represents South Africa plays for the box. And then the impact that they made. And if any of us South Africans haven't been impacted by the Springboks, I think we should join the Guptas and be extricated from this problem. Because that's the kind of impact that a group of individuals like them. But I digress. So innovation is straightforward, it's in parallel with what you're trying to do, and then our accountability translates into this empowerment. And the empowerment is more about having our customers back. So for example, when we make any commitment to you as individuals in your store, or as an affiliate as the ICPA, you need to hold us to task on that, and that make sure we deliver. And I think we heard from Mr. Kessem that we have been delivering, and we need to make sure we continue to do that. And that delivery is not just one way. My colleague Peter Mollen shared with me a stat that says our sales, so if you look at just some in-house data of, I want to call it non-independent and independent rather than to call it the other way. So non-independent versus independent. We're doing a lot better with our independent community pharmacy association than we're doing with your non-members. So that speaks volumes about a two-way street of this empowerment and accountability that we relate to with each other. The last bit in terms of integration and the impact, that aligns nicely with our implementation and execution. And again the Adcock Ingram OTC sponsors of Brave campaign, and I think most of you are familiar with it. If you're not, you'll be seeing something shortly. But that platform has been able to create an opportunity to harmonize independent community pharmacy with the public, with the community, in an ecosystem that is looking to serve primary healthcare and self-care. In that ecosystem, and I'm glad that Mr. Kessem thanked all the sponsors, because when we come to your stores, we come and we compete and we want shelf space and all of it. We will fight with our competitors there. It's just amazing to see us all get together and unify behind you, our customer, at the Congress like that. That's also that ecosystem. So that integration is phenomenal. The impact is clear. We've got healthier patients, we've got stronger practices and retail stores, and then we also have profitable businesses. So this shared vision I speak about is not a coincidence. We are like-minded individuals. We're all wanting to do well for ourselves, our country, the companies we work for, the businesses that we own. And in a short while, you'll see in a few seconds a video which speaks to that. And I just want to say thank you for listening to me. We hope that you'll enjoy the video as much as we've had fun making it, and have a phenomenally empowered Congress. Thank you.
Independent pharmacies are the cornerstone of community pharmacy, and Adcock Ingram, through our iconic brands, play an integral part for any of our business partners, especially the independents, in terms of building their business and ours. And not only that, but offering great brands to the end consumer, who ultimately is the most important person in the whole equation.
That's why Adcock Ingram OTC had the notion that if we are the market leader in OTC, we should also show that in taking the lead in supporting independent pharmacy, who are the bedrock of delivering primary health care.
So in deciding on the strategy and what our customers' requirements are, we embarked on what we called the War on Shelf strategy. That strategy was to help our very important customers with sufficient stock on the shelf, which looked good. We dressed those shelves up with shelf strips, with price flashes, we built gondola ends, we just made their pharmacies look good. But that's the easy part of the job. The easy part is to get the stock onto the shelf. The most important part is to get the stock into the hands of the consumer. We then embarked on wonderful above-the-line campaigns,
including something with News 24, where we looked to see what independent pharmacy stores were doing within their communities, what kind of outreach, and then we made sure that that was showcased to the country at large.
TV adverts, radio adverts, digital activations, everything to drive the consumers into those stores to buy the products off the shelf.
The Adcock Ingram OTC Sponsored of Brave campaign was really developed to ensure that we take the iconic brands that we have within Adcock Ingram at the OTC level and tie that with footfall in an independent pharmacy. The advertising campaign made sure that the umbrella branding of Adcock Ingram OTC Sponsored of Brave was so clear that the brand association that you might see above the line, whether it be radio, print or TV, you make that association when you install with the OTC Sponsored of Brave campaign.
As our ongoing commitment to independent pharmacy and continuously improving and building on our strategy, we introduced Pharmacy of the Week and Apteek van die Week. This has been such a hit for our pharmacists because they are never on national TV, and this just gave them an opportunity to showcase their business and what they do in their communities. Building further on that strategy, we even attended or had some live pharmacy openings on Apteek van die Week and Pharmacy of the Week, which created huge excitement amongst our customers.
KwaZulu-Natal had such a rough time in terms of the flooding, the unrest, and community pharmacies were really hard hit. But which were the first stores to open? Again, community pharmacy. So when we saw what was happening there, our sales force were out in force to help restore the pharmacies, and not just in terms of physically being there helping pack shelves or clean up, but also in terms of what we did with the Independent Community Pharmacy Association in supporting mental health. So as Adcock Ingram OTCs, the Sponsored of Brave campaign was really aimed at getting an awareness with community. And we looked at role models in terms of who exude integrity and braveness. And we started with Derek Watts, and may his soul rest in peace. But a fantastic ambassador for us to help us launch the Adcock Ingram OTC Sponsored of Brave campaign. Following him, we now have Devi Sankari Govender. Again, legitimacy to the campaign. It was a campaign that they had to look into deeply to see there was nothing untoward, and very quickly became Sponsors of Brave ambassadors. So the Adcock Ingram OTC Sponsor of Brave campaign was so compelling that we also endeared ourselves to many celebrities.
For the last couple of years, we've been doing Pharmacy of the Week and Apteek van die Week on national television. This has created a lot of excitement in the independent space. But going forward, we're going to move that more into a community scenario, talking specifically to the community surrounding pharmacies, which we are very excited about. We're going to be going to community newspapers to showcase pharmacies, and for the first time we're going to community radio stations, where we're going to be on community radio station in 8 different languages.
The Adcock Ingram OTC Sponsors of Brave Journalist and Media Awards 2025, in its 7th edition, saw the best of South African media and journalists get rewarded for their bravery, integrity, and unwavering truth-telling in our country. This glittering evening under the stars with these stars saw Adcock Ingram OTC sponsor Brave once again shine a light in the media world often filled with darkness. This year, Adcock Ingram OTC sponsored Brave campaign, which began over 6 years ago, had a small facelift, incorporating the colours of Adcock Ingram as a whole, ensuring that Sponsors of Brave flies its banner high and continues its ongoing initiative in the Brave space. Also visit our new website, www.sponsorsofbrave.co.za. Adcock Ingram OTC Sponsors of Brave in 2025 started a campaign empowering pharmacies to uplift their communities with various corporate social responsibility initiatives. Our Salesforce managers, in partnership with some independent pharmacies, have been giving away checks for 25,000 Rand across 28 social outreach charities and programs across the country this year. Bravery, hope, and care are the pillars of what we stand for. In past years, we had our musical bus of hope that went to hospitals around South Africa, spreading hope and love to the healthcare professionals. This year, Adcock Ingram OTC Sponsors of Brave joined hands with Born to Perform, The Future Takes the Stage, to celebrate the next generation of South African dreamers. This year at Born to Perform, we had St. Vincent's School for the Deaf perform with artists, a beautiful medley of True Colors by Cyndi Lauper and The Scientists by Coldplay. It simply moved audiences. Adcock Ingram OTC was proud to be a part of a show seen by thousands, shining a light on brave, young South African talent.
Can you believe that after almost 3 decades of corporate pharmacy, independent pharmacies still make up more than 50% of Adcock Ingram OTC's total business? We are very proud of this partnership and will continue to work and build on it to keep independent pharmacies strong and relevant in the space.
Without Adcock Ingram OTC, independent pharmacy would struggle. And without independent pharmacy, Adcock Ingram OTC will struggle. So we have to coexist, and the stronger independent pharmacy is in South Africa, the stronger delivery of primary health care to South African residents will be in place. And that's why Adcock Ingram OTC are supporting that particular strategy.
We are committed as Adcock Ingram OTC to continue to add value to your life.
Thank you very much to Sudhir for that presentation. I was fine until I saw the deaf musicians, and I don't think we understand what that means. For somebody who's deaf to be able to sing a song in sign language, it's an amazing experience. I encourage you to get involved with those kind of programs. It's an amazing experience. Allow me now to move on to the next item on our agenda, which is moving very swiftly, which is nice. And this one is something that I think we've all been looking forward to. It's our keynote address. And to do our keynote address, it's really my honor and great privilege to welcome on stage someone who actually really needs no introduction. His actions speak for themselves. His organization has touched thousands of lives. Dr. Imtiaz Sooliman, founder and chairman of the Gift of the Givers, the largest disaster response organization of African origin. Established in 1992, the foundation has delivered humanitarian aid worth over 6 billion rand across 47 countries, spanning disaster relief, healthcare, education, water provision, food security. Dr. Imtiaz Sooliman is a qualified medical doctor who left private practice, as we know, for those of you who have been following Dr. Sooliman, in 1994, and devoted and dedicated his life to humanitarian service. Under his leadership, Gift of the Givers has achieved numerous world firsts, including the world's first containerized mobile hospital and primary healthcare unit. The organization has received over 200 awards and 10 honorary doctorates in recognition of the impact the organization has made. Dr. Suleiman's unwavering compassion and ethical leadership continue to inspire collective action, resilience, embodying his life motto, which is, the best among people are those who benefit mankind. And as you may have picked up by now, there's a quote from Rumi that adequately describes Dr. Suleiman. Rumi says, there is giving and there is knowingness. Some have generosity and compassion, but no true knowledge. Some have knowledge, but no self-sacrifice. When both are present, that person is blessed and prosperous. Such a being is truly incomparable. And for us, such a being is Dr. Imtiaz Suleiman. Please come on.
Thank you, Mahbub. Thank you, Ahmed. Thank you, Pharmacy Association, for inviting me to speak to you guys. Thank you, Dr. Ingram, for what you've been doing to support the Independent Pharmacy Association, and of course to support the country. You know, no matter what we do, whichever field it may be, we got two critical components to sort out in any discipline. Number one, job creation. All the pharmacists, all the manufacturers, everybody involved in the health trade in pharmacy, if everyone could take one more person in different departments, we could make a huge difference to the lives of millions of people in this country. Corruption is not the number one problem in South Africa. Hunger is. Hunger is endemic in this country in a huge way in many parts of South Africa. It's not only among the poor in the rural community, it also hit the middle class community also. But out of dignity, people don't ask. They sit quietly, they sit patiently, and they wait. And in any way that we can change that, by just taking one extra person who wants 2,000 a month, which comes off your tax expenses expenditure, you bring dignity to 7 people in one family. Before I go into the main talk, let me give you more examples about this. On 6th August 2023, in a place called Toledo Village in Butterworth in the Eastern Cape, that Sunday morning, which coincided with the 31st anniversary of Gift of the Givers, it was a tragic day for us. A mother killed her own 3 children and then she hung herself. And then you ask, why did this happen? The story is this, that there was no food in the house, she was hungry, she needed to feed her children, and there was no money. So she asked money from a neighbor who gave the money, and a few days later, it's Toledo Village, it's not some metropolitan, everybody in the village is hungry, they need money. The lady needed the money back, and the mother couldn't give the money back. She had rat eggs. She put rat eggs in the food and killed the 2 smaller ones. She had enough rat eggs, but not even enough food to kill the 3rd one. So she took a knife and shoved it into the throat of her own child. And then she hung herself. And you ask, why would you do this? You know mothers, you will have women here, mothers, grandmothers, you got your own children, grandchildren. When you're pregnant, go to the hospital, ultrasound, blood pressure checks, urine checks, you go diligently. Baby is born, breastfeeding, vaccinations, all the vaccinations over the next few years. Take the child to school, school bag, school uniform, school shoes, lunch box, you do all that kind of stuff. Child gets sick from the rural area, you take the taxi across broken roads, get to hospital, outpatient, wait in the queue, they tell you 4 o'clock it's too late, stay over. You stay over in the cold bench, no food, no heating, no blanket, with your child the next morning, then you go in the queue again, and then you collect the stuff that you guys supply at the pharmacy. And when they get the medication, they go home. Now mother would do all that. Why would she kill her own children? Starvation is the worst form of death. It destroys your dignity, it destroys your moral fiber, it destroys you psychologically and emotionally, because you become totally broken. Your child is hungry and there's nothing you can do about it. Your child disappears right in front of your eyes. And this is totally heartbreaking. We went into the village. When we step in, we don't step into one house, we step into the entire village. There were hundreds of such kids all over the village. They were there in the homes all alone with no parents, sitting in the center of the room, waiting for somebody to do something for them. This is the silent killer in South Africa, the silent pain that nobody knows about. We went to one home, there was an old lady waiting to eat the last cabbage and feed the grandchildren. There was no food after this. Same thing happened in 2011 in a place called Fordwal, in the Northwest Province, between Lichtenburg and Mafeking. 4 kids were walking looking for their mother. In the process, dehydration and hunger, they died on the way. All 4 children from one mother. In that school where those kids came from, we set up a kitchen. For a 500,000 kitchen in 2011. We infiltrated the entire villages. There were hundreds of kids and hungry people in those villages. We set up a kitchen in the name of those 4 kids that passed on in the same school that they were in. Up till today, 14 years later, we're still supporting that kitchen. When we start something, we don't stop. We look after 223 feeding centers throughout the country. The need is growing exponentially for hunger. But fires and floods, very common in the Western Cape. You know, when we used to go in the past, the moment you walk in, they tell you where's the building kit. They only want the building kit. In the last 2.5 years, they don't ask for the building kit anymore. The moment you walk in, they ask you, where's the food? And we ask them, like, in 2 hours you got hungry, how's this possible? And all you got to do is watch the children eat. And when you see the hand movement and you see their eyes, you realize this hunger is not for 2 hours. This hunger is for days. They've been without food for days. We changed our system. We used to feed for 3 days. We increased it to 7, to 10, to 30. In Amtata, the floods, it happened on June 12th. Up till today in October, we are still feeding because there are hungry people all over. But we have to bring in a new policy. If the fire and the flood is on the left-hand side and the kids are hungry there, what about the right-hand side where there's no fire and flood? They're in the same environment. They must be having the same problem. So I send my teams to investigate on the right-hand side. Watch the children eat. It's exactly the same on the left side. Hunger for days. They haven't eaten. And we now feed on the left side and on the right side. Where the fire and the flood is and on the other side. We feed on both sides because there's absolute hunger. In 2020, when the COVID hit, in June of 2020, in a place called Pedi, in the Eastern Cape, the mother collected the food parcel, decently dressed, and she tells my teams, talk to my children. They will tell you. They know the name of every plant in this area. For the last 3 months, they've been eating plants to survive. July 2020, Makanda, Grahamstown. A small child comes in the queue, hungry, shaking, cold, no shirt, torn shirt, no jacket, no hat, no shoes. Comes to the queue and says, I'm very hungry, but I won't take food. Can you please give me for my mother, my father, my brother, and my sister? They haven't eaten. I won't take the food. This is a child doing the responsibility of an adult to sacrifice for himself so his mother and father and brother and sister can eat. We don't operate like that, obviously. And we fed him, and we fed the family, and we fed everybody around. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, you can keep giving food, but better than that is to create jobs. In every way that we can make people independent. Look, we have a teaching. We can make millions, okay? No harm in making money. Make lots of money, no issue. But remember, what you don't spend is not yours. We have a teaching. So if I give all of you 2 billion a year today, you're going to be very, very happy. I'm going to ask you one question. How many lifetimes are you going to live to spend that money? There's greater joy in giving because all of these teachings tell us that what you give, you always get more than what you give. And it's not always about money. How many of us have billions and are totally uncontent? There's no contentment. You fly here today, you want to go place a holiday, you want another house, another car. That's a restless soul. You need to feed a restless soul. And the best way to feed a restless soul is to help people in need. And the most important thing to remember is that you're not on the other side. If you're on the other side, what would you want somebody to do for you? If you're a child, your wife, your father's on the other side, you would do everything possible to help them. Why do you think I'm doing this for 35 years, 365 days a year? It's because of gratitude that my family is not in that way. So let's go where it all started. You see, gift of the givers, I'm going to take you through a few disasters because it's the same. Whether you're a doctor, a nurse, a physiotherapist, a dietitian, a pharmacist, all of you are faced by the same situation in any type of disaster. Everybody's required, there's no difference. No matter what your mentality is, your temperament, your race, your religion, your color, is irrelevant. The situation is the same, it doesn't even matter what your discipline, it's all the same thing. So let's go back to where it started. Gift of the Givers is not my organization. I didn't get up one morning and say to myself, I think today I'm going to form an organization. I couldn't. I was running 3 practices in Pietermaritzburg. I worked Monday to Sunday, after hours, public holidays and long weekends. There was no time to do anything. And it's a calling for which I had no choice. I had a choice to refuse, but I didn't. And that it just happened in the spur of the moment. So the organization itself is totally spiritual. Ethics, morals, values, helping people, compassion is all part of it. It's something, it came as a gift. So what happened? In August 91, my wife and I will end up in Turkey. It's a long story, I'm cutting it short. We went to Turkey. We met a spiritual teacher. We saw people of all races, all religions, from all nationalities in the Muslim holy place. We saw the peace, the harmony, and the calmness. We fell in love with this. What a man I had never seen in my life. I don't understand. I didn't understand the concept, but I fell in love with this. After I went for pilgrimage in 92, I landed up back there. Thursday night, 6 August 1992, 10 p.m. After a zikr. For those who don't know, those who are not Muslim, a zikr is a religious ceremony. It's a Sufi practice where you chant God's names in Arabic. From the other scriptures, you would say, God the one and only, kind, compassionate, eternal, absolute, loving, cherisher, nourisher, sustainer, creator, and so it goes. And those who have experienced it, a lot of Western people come to the Sufi order in Istanbul. It's called the Halveri Jerahi Sufi order of Istanbul. When you chant those names, at some point you feel the presence of God Almighty right in front of you. At that point, when it happened, the spiritual teacher stopped. I don't think he knew what he was going to do that night. I think it came to him by inspiration. Neither was I forewarned what was going to happen on that night, because I don't think anybody knew what was going to happen on that night. It just happened by spiritual inspiration. He stopped, he picked up his head, he made eye contact with me, and he looked heavenwards at the same time. In fluent Turkish, and I don't speak a word of Turkish. I don't understand Turkish, but I understood every single word that he said in Turkish that night. That's a part of spirituality. My son, I am not asking you, I am instructing you. I told you it's not my organization. I'm instructing you to form an organization. The name in Arabic will be Waqful Waqifin. And when that spiritual teacher gives a name, there's a lot of power in that. We translated it, it's not exactly correct. From Arabic to English, you can never make exact translation. Gift of the Givers. You will serve all people, of all races, all religions, all colors, all classes, all cultures, of any geographical location and of any political affiliation. But you will serve them unconditionally. You will expect nothing in return, not even a thank you. This is an instruction for you for the rest of your life. I was 30 years old. Serve people with love, kindness, compassion, and mercy. And remember, the dignity of men is foremost. If someone is down in the ground, don't push them down further. Hold them, elevate them. Wipe the tear of a grieving child. Caress the head of an orphan. Say words of good counsel to a widow. These things are free. They don't cost anything. Clothe the naked. Feed the hungry. Provide water to the thirsty. And in everything that you do, be the best at what you do. Not because of ego. Ego is destructive. But because you're dealing with human life, human emotion, and human suffering. My son, remember that whatever you do is done through you and not by you. There is no place for ego. Everything that you guys think I've done in the last 33 years, 2 years was before Gift of the Givers. But whatever I've done in 33 years is not humanly possible. And I'll give you some stories as we go along for you to understand there's a higher hand in everything that I touch. I asked him at some point, like, how come you speak Turkish? I understand. And other people speak Turkish. I don't understand. He said, my son, when the hearts connect and the souls connect, the words become understandable. I asked him, what exactly are you instructing me to do? I'm a doctor in private practice. I've got 3 surgeries. What exactly do you want me to do? He told me one line, you will know. I said, I will know what? Like what are you telling me? Looked me again in the eye. He said, you will know. For 33 years, I do know. What to do, what not to do, what to touch, what not to touch. In fact, the moment I walked out of that place, the same night, 6 August 92, it came to me, respond to the civil war in Bosnia. The same month, I took in 32 containers of aid into a war zone all alone. 3 months later, November 1992, took in 8 containers of winter items. The chilled factor in Eastern Europe can get to minus 21 degrees. Took in 8 containers of winter items into a war zone all alone. And the following year, he said, be the best. We made a world first. We designed the world's first containerized mobile hospital. Not done by any country, any organization, any place and nation in the world. A product of South African technology. Those who are younger, sited Harbour in Devon. A product of South African engineering and technology. 28 state-of-the-art units. Theatre, X-ray, ICU, sterilization, burns unit, dental unit, physiotherapy unit, orthopedics, gynecology, casualty, outpatient, a whole lot of them. Plus a bus, an ambulance, a generator, and 10 containers of backup supplies. IV lines, fluids, antibiotics, analgesics, sutures, a whole lot of other stuff. And we took these 10 containers of backup supplies and fuel. Enough fuel and enough backup items in the containers to run the hospital for an entire year if we got stuck somewhere in a war zone. We don't do half measures in what we do. 1st February 94, CNN filmed the hospital and said the South African containerized mobile hospital is equal to any of the best hospitals in Europe. That was in 93. In 2005, the Bosnian president invited me and my family to come to Bosnia. Many years later, because we were involved in the war for over 3 years. And he said, we just want to say thank you. I said, not necessary. He said, you have to come. They took us on a tour of the country. They took us back to where the hospital was. The man that put in charge of the hospital in 93 was the same man that was still there in 2005. He said, you told me, you can do anything in the theater besides heart surgery. I said, yes. He said, bring the lady. We brought the lady. He said, this lady had shrapnel in her heart. Remove the shrapnel in her heart in this theater that you South Africans brought. And you see these 4 children, they were born in the same hospital from this lady after the shrapnel was removed from her heart in this theater that you guys provided. We associate you with life, health, and this divine blessing. The second example of you know what to do. Me and my teams in Yemen are not trained in hostage negotiations. We don't have an undergraduate degree, no honors, no masters, no PhD. 6 January 2014, we get a call from Al-Qaeda in Yemen. Are you the guys looking for the 2 South African hostages? We said yes. Come tomorrow morning, 7 January, 10 o'clock to Aden. I can't go, I'm a foreigner. My team member goes. They allow him to talk to me. We communicate. To cut a long story short, in 3 days, with no experience in hostage negotiations, not being trained by anybody, we released Yolandi Koki, unharmed, unconditional, 0 ransom paid. No other government, no government in the world, no matter if they pay 15 million euros or $15 million, can take a hostage out in 3 days. We did it in 3 days with absolutely no knowledge about hostage negotiations. The teacher said, you will know when you knew exactly what to do. Following that, Americans, Canadians, Australians, people from France, Colombia, the Vatican, Sweden, all came on advice how to deal with hostages, especially those kept by Al-Qaeda. We specialize in that. We helped get Stephen McGowan out. We helped get Johan Gustafsson from Sweden out. We got Herr van der Ven to help him get out. All advice on how to do this. So, your story carries on. That was the beginning, you will know what to do. The first project we did was this project in the hospital. But remember, there were no medical teams. The medical teams came, there was a general evolution of the organization. Today, we are the most complete disaster team in the world. No agency, no government can match us. Why do I say this? You see, in a disaster, some people send tents, blankets, food, medicine, diapers, sanitary pads, energy biscuits, bottled water. Some would send primary healthcare medical teams. Some would send trauma teams, the orthopedic surgeons, the ICU guys, the theater nurses, the vascular surgeons, they would send trauma medicine. Some would send post-op spinal rehab specialists, the physiotherapists, that make the people walk after their spines are injured. Some would send trauma counselors. Some would send search and rescue people. Some would send dogs. Some would send dog handlers. Some would send medical equipment. Some would send search and rescue equipment. Some would send, upgrade agriculture. Some would give cash money so people can go buy what they want. Some would upgrade clinics, hospitals, schools, houses. Some would restart water plants. And in conflict situations, some people may send in hostage negotiation teams. We're the only team in the world that does all of the above. We can get off a plane on a runway and set up an ICU and a theater in 45 minutes. In Somalia, when we walked in 2011 in the famine, we got a building that was empty. That building, we took it to South African medical team, and within 3 hours, we converted it into a fully fledged hospital. ICU, theater, oxygen, ultrasound, dietetics, physiotherapy, physician, gynecology, pediatrics, and every other discipline. We did this in 3 hours. This is our skill from the teams that are totally committed. So let's go to another story where we had a search and rescue team. Well, there's two stories here. In 2005, 8 October, we respond to the earthquake in Pakistan. This earthquake wipes out an entire region from Rawalpindi to Muzaffarabad. It doesn't take out a city, it takes out 400 villages. They all sink to the ground. As we get there, the general comes to us and says, do you mind not going to the earthquake? I said, which hospital are you giving me? He said, the Cantonment Hospital of Rawalpindi. He says, you understand? I said, clearly. My team say, if you're not going to the earthquake, why did we come? I said, you're not listening to what the guy is saying. The guy is saying there is nothing left in the mountains. The hospitals, the schools, the houses, everything is gone. There's nothing you can do up there. Only those people who are walking around from between the houses who are alive, they have to stabilize them. But there's nobody else left there. That's what he's telling you, he's not telling you to you directly. So I said, my friend, the ones that are alive, have you got helicopters, we can go and fetch them. He said, look at our condition. We are messed up from Rawalpindi to Muzaffarabad. Where's the helicopters? They're all gone. In disaster management, you gotta think on your feet. So I looked around the airport, I said, American Air Force. You know, Muslims and Americans, we got a big problem with each other. So in any case, I said, American Air Force. I walked there, I see a big black guy. Emphasis on race is deliberate. He got an American badge. I know where the hell he's from. I said, my brother, where are you from? He's from America. I said, you're black, you're from Africa. You say, yes, I'm from Africa. I said, I'm from Africa too. She said, brother, what do you need? I said, brother needs help from another brother. Like, what help do you need? I said, you see, I've got to be very diplomatic about this. I said, you see, we came from South Africa, we brought the teams, and we can't get to the mountains, and we get in the hospital, and we need to send the people in the mountain, and we need a helicopter. So he said, you need a helicopter? What are brothers there for? Take 3. 2 minutes, 3 helicopters from the American Air Force. He understood the language of the heart. He understood humanity. He understood compassion. He didn't ask his boss or his general or secretary of defense, didn't ask for anything right. He said, just take the bloody thing. Within 15 minutes, 3 pilots were already in the helicopter. And the teams went into the mountain. We went to the cantonment hospital of Rawalpindi. And as we walked in, we got the stench of death, the stench of gangrene. Inside, no IV lines, kids left with no food, no stretchers, no hygiene, no disinfectant, no proper people around. And then, of course, we get the clever boys, the first world teams. They came past. Africa is a swear word, by the way. Wherever you go, you're backward, you're stupid. So the clever boys came. Where are you guys from? South African guy, English guy, Hindu guy, Muslim guy with a big beard, Gaza guy, Zulu guy. They couldn't understand this. Where are these people from? So I said, where are you from? They asked, where are you from? I said, South Africa. Oh, what did you come to fetch? You guys came with a begging bowl. What can you guys do from that continent? What can you do? I said, my friend, you are going to eat your words. And I love doing this to people who think they do forever. Any case, I tell the guy, I call the general, I said, what's happening here? Will you put your money in here? The hospital is falling apart. So the CEO comes running and he says, General, don't you know we're decommissioning the hospital? So I said, are you guys feeling well? All the hospitals in the mountains are destroyed. The one that's standing is shutting down. What kind of logic is that? So he asked, what can we do? I said, I'll give you a shopping list. I'll show you what we can do. In less than 24 hours, the Cantonment Hospital of Rawalpindi that was shutting down, the South African medical team converted it into a 400-bed emergency hospital with 75 operations a day. For which, the following year, 2006, the then President of Pakistan, Pervez Musharraf, gave us a presidential award for what we did for the people of Pakistan. The clever boys, I went back to them. I said, my friend, I'm in charge of this hospital now. You can work here, no problem. 12 January 2010, we South Africans, we're very sharing. We don't turn anybody away. We share, we have open hearts. If people try to put you down, you're never going to put us down. Why? Because to every country we've been, within 48 hours, they tell us you're different. And ask, what do you mean we're different? Like we all mixed people here, black, white, Indian, colored. No, not that. That we know. Our medical skills, you guys are unmatched. No, not that also. Then what is it? Your guys' attitude. People come here from first world countries and from other countries, and they talk down to us. They don't show us any respect. We don't have any dignity. We've lost our child, our house, our wife, our mother, our father. We've lost everything, and we are broken emotionally and psychologically. They don't even touch our people. We're like leprosy. But when you guys come, you talk to us gently. You touch us gently. You hold our child. You wipe their nose. You hug us. You kiss us. You kiss the children. You take the food parcel and put it in our hands. And you walk with us to the area. You don't throw it at us. You show us so much dignity and respect that even if you didn't give us one item of aid, your attitude gives us healing. May God bless you, your team, your families, and your country. You know, we were teaching. 47 countries have prayed for us in this way. We pray from the bottom of our hearts that nobody can give you what we can give you. We give you our prayer. The teaching is clear that God Almighty, where you're going to find Him? You're not going to find Him in the religious houses, He's not there. You're going to find Him among the sick, the hurting, the bleeding, the hungry, those that are being served with injustice, who are oppressed, who are being killed. You will find Him there. And He says, I am duty bound to listen to the prayer of those people. So when they say, you're going to be looked after, I have no issue but to answer that prayer. This country will never fall. It will never collapse. It will never break down completely. But no matter what our chaos and difficulty and hardships and mess up we got, this country will never fall apart because we've got the prayers of hundreds of millions of people all over the world, and God Himself has got no choice but to answer that prayer. Remember that. That's a positive for us because people keep praying for us every single day for the last so many years. We're not the only people that do the good. So a lot of South Africans who do good every way, and that prayer comes from every side. 2012, January 2010, massive earthquake in Haiti. 40 seconds wipes out 240,000 people. What's one of the main reasons why so many people died? Ethics is critical. Ethics is critical. The architects, the engineers, the builders took a shortcut. Don't put proper steel, don't put proper concrete, and pass the plans so that when one building fell, all fell. More than half those people died because of those buildings falling down because somebody made a lot of money with shortcut. You guys are pharmacists, not architecture, not engineers. The principle is the same. We don't do unethical practice in anything that we do because one day it'll come back to bite us. You know, karma has got a very bad habit of, or rather a very good habit of coming back to catch the wrong people. In everything that you do, be very careful about how you practice your ethics. We responded. South Africa had to build relationships. We come from an apartheid past. We have to bond together, build together, work together. My teams are completely mixed. I don't care what you believe in or don't believe in. I couldn't care less. I don't care what you look like, what religion you follow, what color you are. I only care one thing. Do you have compassion? Can you serve with ethics? If you can, you're part of my team. If you can't, you're out. Simple. So, the teams respond. For the first time, we have search and rescue teams. We never had them before. I told you it's an evolutionary process. We had, and every mission, we added something new. For the first time, we had search and rescue teams. All the priests and the Molanas and the Pandits came to the airport to greet the teams off. I gave Air France the business. I said, we'll fly to Air France, Paris, Haiti, for Port-au-Prince. I tell a lady, will you get my teams to Port-au-Prince? She said, yes, we will. I said, no, you won't. She said, yes, I will. I said, no, you won't. So I said, give me a guarantee in writing. She gave me a guarantee in writing. I said, lady, you just made a big mistake. And again, she gave me the email. The teams are going to France. I call the Catholic Society of South Africa. I don't know the guy, and the guy doesn't know me. So I said, my friend, I don't know who you are, and you don't know who I am. I need the Pope. for 10 seconds, the guy couldn't talk. So I said, hey, you can't find the Pope. I said, we Muslims, you're connected all over the world. You Christian guys are not connected. So he said, what do you need a Pope for? So I said, I need the Catholic organization to meet my teams in Dominican Republic and take them across Port-au-Prince. He said, oh, okay, call me back in 3 hours. Call me back in 3 hours. Caritas and Catholics Relief Services, CRS, will meet your teams in Dominican Republic and take you across. In the meantime, my teams land in Paris. We got a problem. I said, I know. Port-au-Prince is closed. That's what I told Air France. Everything has changed. You guys are flying to Dominican Republic. Here's the number. Get to Dominican Republic, board, Sarigati, welcome. Transport, accommodation, food, water, visas. We work with the Catholic Relief Society and we go across into Port-au-Prince. The first time I never led a team because the network was a total disaster. Those days, a huge BlackBerry messenger. That's the only thing that was working. Nothing else was working. If I went, we all would have got stuck. So 2 reasons I didn't go. One was for communication purposes, and secondly, it was part of succession planning. Somebody had to take over from me to learn how to do this job. So they get inside there, after a couple of hours they phone me, they said they're shooting here in the street. I said, are they shooting at you? I said, no, lie down, don't worry. 20th January 2010, we make world history. In the collapsed Catholic Church, 8 days into the earthquake, my teams just sounds in the rubble. They pull out alive, 64-year-old Enazizi. No oxygen, no food, no water, full of dust in the face, fractured hip. Never before in the history of the world has any team from Africa taken anybody out of the rubble in an earthquake outside the African continent. It was a world first. Our teams took her out alive. Her first words to my team was, I love God Almighty. Her second was, there's only 2 qualities that give you positivity and hope, nothing else. Faith and spirituality. You say faith, you exclude people who don't belong in a book. So you can't exclude people who don't belong to any book. But spirituality is something that we all should be born with. Kindness, compassion, inner belief system, ethics, values. If you don't believe in any of the 2 categories, then you do what's happening in Gaza. People like that, who don't have faith and spirituality, this is what they do. Craziness in Sudan, in Congo, in Gaza, all of East Timor, is people who don't belong to any of these 2 categories. So, the second word she says to my team, I love you. The essence of human being, of religion, of faith and spirituality is love. We care for each other. We do things for each other without reminding people of what we do. The medical team stepped up to the church. There's a question of ethics again. They see patients bleeding to death, seen by first world teams. And then my teams broke down completely. Because as they went into the church to fix people, when the kids came, somebody came to practice on them what the gang were cutting the amputations, and they messed it up. So if the kid's ankle was gone, we now had to cut the knee. If the wrist was gone, we had to cut the elbow. What future have those kids got? Because somebody came there without any ethics. My big size Afrikaner guys who deal with the jaws of life broke down. They couldn't take this because there were hundreds of kids going through that. Ethics is so critical when you're dealing with somebody else's child, their country, their people. The medical team stepped to the front. The first world team said, we can't do this. There's no equipment, everything's broken. The South African team said, you leave this to us. To the credit of the first world teams, they said, if you need help and you need healing, then go to the dream team. And the dream team is from South Africa. We've set a reputation wherever we go. We take the best guys in terms of temperament, attitude, skill, commitment, and care and compassion. Good. Ahmed wanted me to give you a story of Syria, and I'm going to give you one more story after this. 2012, August. I go into, oh no, not August, October. August I was in Yemen. 2012, October. I go into Syria. I can't find the right people. I go to various areas. I come back in December 2012. I finally find a guy who speaks English. Dr. Ahmed Gandour, he speaks English. Otherwise, he couldn't speak English. I don't know what he was saying. And in any case, he couldn't give me a medical guy. All the medical guys were dead or gone to the mountain. He comes, I said, my friend, I'm here to help you. I need a building where we can set up and convert it into hospital. He said, I've got exact building for you. The town just got liberated 10 years ago from us as forces. Here's the building. We go to the building. I said, this thing is too small. So he said, but you haven't started yet. I said, I'm gift of the givers, this building is too small. So he says, what are you going to do here? I said, can you go upwards, sideways, backwards? I need the land across the road, and I need 4 or 5 other buildings. He said, are you feeling well? You haven't even started yet. I said, Ahmed, I'm telling you, it's going to happen. So as you walk in the building, and because I came to give shed, and the town just got liberated, anybody from outside is regarded as a spy. But because you're walking with Ahmed, he's the hero of the entire region. So it's okay, he's walking with Ahmed, can't be so dangerous. So in any case, I walk with Ahmed, he tells me, then we're going to need an engineer. Now there were other people walking in the building also. And the one guy said, sorry, I overheard your conversation. So I said, you speak English? He said, yes. He said, you said you need an engineer? I said, yes. He said, I'm an engineer. So I said, oh, can you go up here? He said, yes, 2 floors. I said, hey, where did you study? He said, what do you mean? I said, you didn't see the architectural drawing, you didn't see the steel structure, you didn't see how much concrete, and he said, how you can tell me 2 floors? He said, my friend, keep calm, I built the building. That's not the funny part. The war started in 2011. The place is called Darkush. The man, 15 million Syrians displaced internally and externally. The man never came back. He left years ago. He never came back to Darkush for several years after the war started. The day I needed an engineer, not any engineer, the guy who built that building in that hour of that minute that I was there, he walked into the building. I told you, this is spirituality at its best. There's no other way this can happen. We went up the 2 floors, I took the land across, and I took 5 other buildings, as I promised him. And we put up a second hospital, we got a blood bank, cardiac catheterization, dialysis, 50 to 20,000 patients in a month. It's the biggest hospital in North Syria that we run from that day onwards. It's by the grace of God Almighty, not any human being can do this. And when we were going to enter, I didn't trust the normal route. I told Zuma when he was president, and Khalima when he was deputy president. When they went to Turkey, I said, speak to the Turks, I need safe access into Syria. They couldn't arrange it. I sent Dirk a letter, I said, I will cross into Syria legally or illegally. He said, we won't be happy, but we can't stop you. So across the drum to the river, I put the entire teams on the drum in the river. We pulled the rope and we went in the drum on the other side. The media were with me. We didn't keep it quiet, they filmed it and showed it to the whole world. And 2 weeks later, the South African Parliament passed a motion of commendation for gift of the givers entering Syria. And it's a great country, this, I tell you. Went in illegally, and we got commendation for going illegally. The final story. This is purely a spiritual story. November 2022, my friend in Cape Town calls me, and he says, would you like to meet the new head of Turkish Airlines? He's moving from San Francisco to Cape Town. So I said, Nisar, in my business, I got to know everybody. I'm a logistics specialist. I need airline partners. Yes, we'll see. But not now. Let the universe decide when I have to see him. I don't write anything down. I'm no notes. I just leave everything to chance. So November I came to Cape Town several times, I didn't see him. December I went to Cape Town several times, I didn't see him. January I went to Cape Town several times, I didn't see him. 1st February as I'm going up the steps in King Shaka Airport to the plane, the voice comes in my head, call him now. So I call him. I said, is your friend here? He said, I'll call you back in 2 minutes. Yes, he's here. 9:30, Supper Sari restaurant, the Turkish restaurant at the waterfront. You're landing out of 9, come straight across. I meet him 9:30. Mohammed Sona Aiden. We speak a little bit. I said, Mohammed, I need an airline partner. In the event an earthquake hits the country, I need to move search and rescue teams, medical teams, dog handlers, dogs, search and rescue equipment, medical equipment, tents, blanket, food and medicine, no obstruction, no bureaucracy, no red tape, no wasting my time, and nobody loses my equipment. So he looks at me, he says, done. 5 days later, 6 February, 4:10 a.m., the earthquake hits his country. What's the chance of that being a coincidence? 20 million people affected between Syria and Turkey. Within 24 hours, the search and rescue teams are on a plane. Within 48 hours, dogs and the dog handlers and the dogs on the plane. We're the only team in the world that had 5 dogs. 172 countries responded. Some sent more than one team. There were about 300 teams that came. We were within the first few of those 172 countries. When you land in a country, you never show arrogance. You never show that, you need me to help you. You don't ever do that. You say, my brother, my sister, we need assistance. We are here to help you, work with you within your system. What do you want? Only 12 teams got selected to go to Hatay. 99% wiped off the face of the earth. I was at Hatay in November the year before. Wiped off the face of the earth. 2 Turkish government teams, 2 Chinese government teams, Italian government team, Jordanian government team, Omani, Saudi, Croatian, Serbian, Bosnian. We're the only non-governmental organization in the world that is not a country that is chosen to go to Hatay. 12 teams. They ate exactly like in Haiti, 13 February 2023. The dog savers go there. 12-story pancake building. A few hours later, we pull out alive 90-year-old grandmother. The Bosnian team leader comes, pats my team on the shoulder, my team leader on the shoulder, and he starts sobbing. And he asks me, like, what happened? He puts his hand in his pocket, pulls out a wallet. In the wallet, there's a picture. There's a baby and a woman in the picture. He said, that baby, that's me. That one, that's my mother. But you know the name of the organization. So he asked, like, what do you mean? He said, in 93, you guys brought a hospital to Bosnia. I was born in that hospital. The power of spirituality. Thank you very much for your setting up this pharmacy campaign for Gaza and Africa. Aspen Stavros gave me $250,000 worth of medicine that we managed to put in through Jordan last year sometime. A few weeks ago, there were some medicines that came to commercial trucks, $70,000 worth of medicines we bought, and a consignment from both him and this consignment, analgesics, antibiotics, and anesthetics, critically important in the region. 16 November next week is the death anniversary of the head of my office that was directly targeted by Israel. Him being a pharmacist, he was a pharmacist, and his brother, a doctor, were both killed on the morning of 16 November 2023. He had a premonition of his death, and he told me that the week before, and the day before it happened, I got a premonition that he's going to die the next day. And it happened to him, and we lost 22 other people were lost. All together in Gaza, in this period of time, I've lost 210 people. But my teams don't stop working. We've reactivated water plants. We've upgraded Shifa Hospital. We support psychologists, psychiatrists. We're running 4 schools. We provide food parcels. We buy the fish from the sea. We buy the olive plantations. We buy the fruit and vegetables. And we activate water distribution, food parcels when we can. So we set up ovens everywhere where we can cook. outside Gaza, inside Egypt. We're the only organization in the world permitted to work in the Sinai. We're looking after 4,000 Palestinians in the Sinai. We set up preschools, we ECD centers where we're paying Palestinian teachers to teach Palestinian kids, and the Egyptian refugees who are thrown out in the Sinai, we look after them also. Inside Cairo itself, we got 5 private schools which we hire in the afternoon, and we teach 3,000 Palestinian kids every afternoon with 500 teachers which we pay for. We provide medical support in terms of drugs inside Gaza and outside Gaza, individually sent to the people. We support them in that way. And we even paid for students to study inside Egypt, and of course we brought the first 59 students to South Africa, the medical students. The first 60 lots have qualified, they're in internship in Egypt and in Turkey. The second batch in Wits have finished 5th year, they're starting 6th year. We made a general call now to bring students from all different disciplines, engineering, pharmacy, medicine, to South Africa in the new year. There's lots of other things that we're doing in Gaza. But the medicines that you guys are collecting are critically important for us, for the people in Gaza. We're also involved in Sudan. We're helping from Port Sudan. It's very difficult to get in the rest of Sudan, but from Port Sudan we're operating. There's 2 million Sudanese refugees in Aswan in Egypt. We're supporting them also. And the last thing that we're doing in Gaza for Palestinians, we're supporting 180 psychiatrists and psychologists that are busy working with the patients in Gaza for psychological support. We're funding that. And my wife, who's the head of my counseling division in South Africa, is working with a whole lot of psychologists and psychiatrists. They modify the modalities of treatment for psychological intervention in Gaza, and they're working with psychologists inside Gaza and the West Bank and the whole of Palestine, so that when things open up, we can send 180 from Egypt, we can send the ones from South Africa, and I've got 200 medical guys of every discipline ready to go into Gaza. And already our trucks have crossed the border last night into Karam Shalom on the Rafah side. We buy stuff, our own trucks, and we buy stuff from commercial companies that are allowed to operate because they need to pay tax. So we buy off the entire consignment of whatever comes, and it comes to us. I can multiply the intervention in Gaza 10 to 24 if everything opens up in the way it should open up. Your support in terms of medicines is going to save a lot of lives. It's going to make a huge difference. It's going to bring easing. It's going to bring help. It's going to bring hope. We will get it in. Thank you very much for what you're doing. Thank you very much for inviting me. And thank you very much for what you guys do for South Africa. Thank you.
Thank you very much to Dr. Suleiman, and I don't think those few minutes do justice to the work that's being done on the ground. As Dr. Suleiman said, it's humanitarian work. It's not religious work, it's not political work, it's not business work, it's humanitarian work. And we say thank you for all that you do on the ground. And we know that ICPA has partnered with the International Pharmaceutical Federation, FIP, and under the Humanitarian RX campaign. And the program, which was initiated by our own Dr. Mudley in Australia, I think 3 years ago, started off as Medicines to Africa. And our Sham Mudley was the signatory to that and part of the designing team behind that project, together with the Defence Association in the UK, the various pharmaceutical associations around the world. So we've partnered with Humanity RX, and the project that we're campaigning for is called the Medicines 2 campaign. At the moment, we know that they sent medicines to Ukraine, medicines to Africa, and at the moment the campaign is Medicines to Gaza. And without putting too much emphasis on what it's about, because I haven't been very involved in that project in terms of the setup, I'd like to call our ICPA COO and ask him just to give us a few words to explain what this project is about. And while Ahmed is coming up, I'd like to ask you to have a look on your desks. You should have been handed a pledge form. It is our intention to hand over 1 million rand at least to Dr. Suleiman through Gift of the Givers towards this campaign for Medicines to Gaza. So we ask that you put your name, your surname, your pledge on there and give it to any of the ICPA staff or take it to our stand. Scan the QR code, make the donation, and let's get the medicines where they're needed. Ahmed, if I can ask you to come forward.
I'm going to have to look up here. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much. Remember, you've done a lot of the introduction. Just a bit of background as to where we started and where we are at the moment. So, Medicines to Africa is a campaign that started with Medicines to Ukraine. So, when the war broke out between Russia and Ukraine, the Ukrainian hospitals and the medical staff, they called out for help. And they said, please, we need medicines desperately. And the folk in Europe, just the general public, sent boxes and boxes of medicines to Ukraine, only to get stuck at the Polish border. At the Polish border, the authorities wouldn't let it go across for regulatory purposes, etc., etc. And so all of that medicines, tons of it, was just destroyed. What a waste. Because, it's such a waste of valuable resources. And people were well-intentioned. So Pharmacists Without Borders, based in the UK, said, and another organization called, Sham, help me with that one, PDA, Pharmacists Defense Association, said, look, let's not send medicines to any country. Let's collect funds and partner with a charity organization who will then purchase the medicines and take it into the country where it's needed, because they've got the expertise. And so, long story short, the FIP approached South Africa and said, would you be interested in working with us on the humanitarian RX project to have medicines to Africa? And we put up our hands and said, absolutely. And so we partnered with the ICPA, the Pharmaceutical Society of South Africa, the military, academia, and several stakeholders, and said we all work together, and we started the campaign of Medicines to Africa. Following from that, the crisis in Gaza became a real thing that we had to now address very urgently. And so FIP said, let's focus on Gaza for now. So while we have Medicines to Africa as the bigger project, the need right now is Gaza, and so we're focusing on Gaza. So Medicines to Gaza is a project that we are busy currently working on, which we want to expand. And as Mehboob said, you've got pledge forms, and we'd like you to pledge your donations, whatever it is. And this is about crowdfunding. So you'll also find that we've got posters on the registration desk, and we have leaflets that you can take to your pharmacies and hand it out to your patients. Put up your posters in the pharmacy and encourage your clients and your patients and your customers to donate. It's about every rand, every 20 rand, every 30 rand, it all builds up, and that's what we're trying to do. So please join us in this campaign, and let's grow this fund to get medicines to Gaza. In South Africa, we partnered without any, you've heard what Dr. Sulman had said, and there couldn't have been a dry eye in this audience throughout that discussion and the expose of what work happens there. And so we selected Big Brother Givers as the charity partner, and so have other African countries. So thank you to PSSA, to the Fieldway, for encouraging 9 other African states to join Medicines to Africa. And some of those countries, those that are closer to us in Southern Africa, have also selected Gift of the Givers as the partner. And they are moves afoot to encourage other countries that are further north to also join Gift of the Givers in this campaign. So it's a global campaign, and we also have in August this year at the FIP Congress, the 5 continental bodies of pharmacy have also joined the campaign of Medicines too, and we're promoting Medicines to Gaza right now. So I'll stop there, and I'd like you to fill in your pledge forms, and please donate generously. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Ahmed. And somebody who's always working in the background, somebody who always gets nervous for any conference, even though he's spoken in hundreds, Dr. Mudli, thank you for your humanitarian work. You're doing it all over the world, silently, quietly, just continuing to do, representing the country without taking any name or any fame for it, but we acknowledge you and we say thank you for all the projects that you bring to South Africa and for leading that FIP international team as a South African. Thank you very much. That's another South African doing good work in the world. So we know that Dr. Suleiman, like the ICPA, is a non-profit, so we don't make any money off anybody, and that's why we're asking for pledges. Dr. Suleiman doesn't charge us to be here, but it is out of good faith that ICPA board, the EXCO and the office have put together 20,000 rand that we'd like to hand over to Dr. Suleiman to kick off the project and further enhance the project. I'd like to ask Dr. Suleiman to come forward, but Dr. Suleiman, I see that from my side, I'd like to pledge another 1,000 Rand. And I want to challenge, is there anybody in the room that can better? I haven't even, Jackie, okay. Okay, so we've got another 1,000, Shams another 1,000, Dipti another 1,000, thank you. Please fill it in, thank you, Mr. Tladi, thank you, Patricia. Simone, thank you very much. So this is exactly how, PJ, thank you. This is exactly how crowdfunding works, and this is what we want you to go back to your pharmacies and do, because you can see where the money is going, you can see what projects are being done, and you can see how it directly impacts the lives of people. So Dr. Suleiman, our intention is by the end of the year to hand over at least 1 million Rand to your organization for this project. Thank you very much. Please come forward. Jackie, can I call you forward as well?
It's not because the checks are big.
Coming on top of it. That's good.
Cabo, come in front of Jackie.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. You guys are going to be somewhere else.
Thank you very much, Dr. Suleiman. A round of applause.